Less than a decade after the guns have gone silent over the Korean peninsula, a new era of the Cold War begins. This time between the two greatest powers of the communist world, China and the Soviet Union. Frustrated by an unequal relationship is China's supreme leader, Mao Zedong. Mao's ambition to put China on the world stage would shape her transformation as a nation. But it would create an irreparable rift with the Soviet Union, one that would break out into open war.
And this is a story that not many people know about. When I tell people that China and Russia already went to war, because people always say, what if China and Russia go to war? We know that they're partners, but what if their partnership breaks and they go to war? I tell them, it already happened. First of all, Mao Zedong, he's a communist superhero. He's a communist. China at one point in time, you got to understand, it's a big, big country, biggest country in the world, largest population. There was a point in time where there was no China. There was a north of China, which was run by a warlord. The south was run by a warlord. The east was run by a warlord. The west was run by a warlord. It wasn't unified. There was no central government. Each warlord provided for his territory. He had governors working for him, but it was a federation. It was basically military. It was basically militaries ruled each thing. They sucked. The economy sucked. Everything was terrible. Japan came in. They take advantage of the fact that there's no unity. There's no single Chinese identity, different tribes, all of that stuff. There's no China. There's no concept of China. The land exists. The people are there, but they're fractured into different groups, different loyalties to different warlords, right? So Japan, a little island, so much smaller than China, so much smaller. They exploit it. So for hundreds of years, Japan has been trying to take over China, and they did. They subjugated them. They enslaved them. Look it up. They've done a lot. They actually ruled China. They took over their economy. They enslaved them. That's why Chinese people hate Japanese people. That's why Japan doesn't even mention any of these events in their history books, and this causes Chinese people to get upset because they're saying, how can you ignore our history? They conveniently take out all the parts. Japan being the supreme Asian, just like the Nazis were the supreme Aryan. That's why Japan in World War II sided with the Nazis, because they were the supreme Asian. They were the supreme Asian. So Japan, therefore, should rule all Asians. And they were the Nazis of the Asian world. History means a lot. That's why when America came in, we took away Japan's army. They're never allowed again to have a military. Japan can never have a military ever again. They can have a home defense unit, but no military, because they were reckless when they had one, and they were racist. But yeah, China and Russia already went to war. What happened is, after Joseph Stalin died, the new leader, Khrushchev, denounced Stalin. Said Stalin was a racist. He was a poor communist leader. Everything that he did was wrong. He killed innocent people. He was a brutal dictator. We're going to wash away Stalinism, meaning we're going to wash away the fact that Stalin ever existed, because you got to understand that Russia was rural. It was farms. It was nothing like it is today. The Industrial Revolution missed Russia, but Stalin in the 20s and 30s instituted a campaign where he modernized the whole entire country. He made factories and all of that stuff, created the modern day economy, which was factories, the Industrial Revolution. Russia didn't have that because it was under kings, you understand? And it was peasantry. It was like a peasant system, farming system. Stalin, when the communists took over, Stalin himself instituted a policy where he modernized the country, and in breakneck speed. It took America about 80, 100 years to get through the Industrial Revolution. Stalin did it in 20. So he killed millions of people along the way, sent them to work camps. But it made the economy modern, and it made them ready for World War II, and it made them the kings of the communist world, because Stalin brought them from the rural world, the old world, the ancient world, to the modern world. That's why people are conflicted about Stalin. Do you love him? Do you hate him? He was mean. He killed a lot of people. At the same time, he brought Russia to where it is today, because he was the first communist leader. Lenin got into power, and he died and had a stroke as soon as he became leader. And he passed it to Stalin. But some say he never passed it to Stalin. Some say he released a letter saying, to hell with Stalin. He's a bad leader. I never picked him. I got a stroke. I'm paralyzed. My mind is gone, so I can't fight. But some say Lenin's wife wrote that because she was jealous of Stalin. So anyway, China and Russia go to war because after Stalin dies, Russia wants to act like he never existed, because they want to blend in with the modern day world. Even though they're communists, they want to integrate into the economy, because the economy doesn't care if you're communist or capitalist. It's all about moolah. They got a lot of oil to sell, so they can compromise their values when it comes to the dollar, right? So they want to blend in, be a regular country. They denounced Stalin. They have to do that because he killed millions of people. You know, he was racist. So they have to denounce him to move on to the modern day world, modern day economy. China doesn't like that because if they do that in Russia, they might do that in China and overthrow Mao Zedong because he was also the first communist leader of China, just like Stalin was the first communist leader of Russia. The country don't know no other leader but him, just like they didn't know no other leader but Stalin. You understand? So Mao is thinking, what if they do that to me and overthrow me? I'd kill millions of people. Same thing happened with China. He took it from a rural community, not unified at all, a bunch of warlords, communists take over, centralize the government. China's old, so in the ancient world, it was the number one most modern thing ever. Then the warlord period, the 1800s, the century of humiliation, when Japan kept trying to enslave them, and the warlords broke up the unity after the last dynasty was Baba, Vamoose, by the Genghis Khan and them and all. You know Genghis Khan and blah, 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 blah. They created dynasty, blah, blah, blah. Later on, 1800s warlords. It's not unified. China's not unified. There's no dynasty. It's just warlords in each area running their particular area. Easy to take over, divide, and conquer, the European model. Remember? So, Mao Zedong was scared that, you guys are chickening out for the dollar. You denounce Stalin, that means you're going to influence the Chinese to denounce me. So they went to war. Bullets were exchanged. People died. They're friends now, but they went to war. And communism was a serious threat. At the end of the day, the communists, all the communist countries were connected. They all were friends, and they looked up to Russia. Russia influenced China. China learned everything from Russia. Russia was the king of the communist world. Mao Zedong worshipped the Russians, and he looked at them as the ultimate communists. That's why he was so disappointed when they denounced Stalin. So Russia ran the communist world, and they were really trying to penetrate every sector of the world, just like America tries to penetrate every sector of the world, because you want influence. You can't be a rich country or a superpower if you don't have influence. You need every country to be your friend. And, you need to make money with them, and you need to barter, and you need to, economic exchange so that we can continue to be number one, because we want to have McDonald's and Coca-Colas and Pepsis in their country. And if they don't do that and they're dealing with Russia, that's a conflict of interest. Because either Russia's going to have their restaurants in these countries or we are. And that's the conflict between America and Russia. It's all about influence. It's not about communism or capitalism. It's about who can make the most money from these other countries. You understand? Peace.